Thank you colleagues for being patient. Your Excellency, Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, Your Excellency Andreas Peschke, the German Ambassador to South Africa, Your Excellency Phumelele Stone-Sizani, Ambassador of South Africa to the Federal Republic of Germany, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers in our midst and senior government officials on both sides. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you, Chancellor Scholz, for your visit to South Africa. I hope you've managed to enjoy the wonderful sunshine and the excellent weather that we have in the height of winter, unlike what you have in Europe. As South Africa, we attach the greatest importance to our relations with Germany, which is our second largest trading partner, but which is also a major investor in our economy as a significant market for inbound tourism and valued partner in development. This year marks 26 years since President Nelson Mandela's state visit to Germany in 1996 and the establishment of the binational commission between Germany and South Africa. The binational commission spans the broad areas of collaboration in the economy with regard to trade and investment, to science and technology, to defense, social and labor affairs, culture, and the environment. When President Mandela addressed the Bundestag on the 22nd of May 1996, we were a new nation in the early days of our democracy. He said that the message of hope he brought would find favor among the German people, who shared in our joy of success as well as our pain to recreate and reconstruct our country. Your visit comes at a time when we are once more in a period of reconstruction and recovery, and also in a period of some pain as we go through having to rebuild parts of our country that have been devastated by the floods that we experienced in KwaZulu-Natal and in the Eastern Cape, the two provinces of our country. We're also having to rebuild in the wake of the devastating impact of the global COVID-19, which has deepened poverty, inequality, as well as unemployment. We look forward to discussions on how we can work together with Germany to advance our efforts towards important interventions such as reindustrializing our country, how we can advance infrastructure development, as well as job creation. We look forward to deepening trade and investment ties with Germany. We anticipate constructive discussions around the green economy, clean energy, and building climate resilience as we embark on new technologies such as hydrogen and various others of renewable energy technologies. An important area of cooperation in this respect is the just transition partnership between the governments of South Africa, Germany, France, the United Kingdom and the United States of America, and the European Union. This is a path-breaking initiative to support South Africa's pathway to a low-carbon economy and climate-resilient society, to accelerate the just transition and the decarbonization of the electricity system, and to support the development of new economic opportunities. Another area of our relationship we would like to expand is that of education and skills training. These are areas that you and I touched on in our tete-a-tete just a few minutes ago. There is much we can learn from German model of dual education and how German companies integrate the training of young people in the working environment. And you were kind enough also to share with me the history of this process that Germany has perfected so well from the 19th century. We have always been able to count on Germany to support our development path. Ours is a true partnership. It is also a practical partnership that is focused on mutual development, which is also rooted in solidarity and mutual respect. Germany has rendered extensive support to Africa's effort to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. Germany was the first country to respond to calls from the Act A Facilitation Council, which I co-chair with the Prime Minister of Norway. It was a call to us countries to contribute their fair share towards ending the pandemic. We welcome Germany's announcement at the second Global COVID-19 Summit earlier this month that it will donate, which you articulated, 850 million euros to assist poorer countries to increase their vaccination rates, and 50 million euro to the Pandemic Preparedness Fund. You were quite forthright and very strong in the summit that we held as convened by President Biden of the United States. So we thank you very much for the contribution that you continue to make and the assistance that you are giving to a number of countries, particularly on the African continent in this regard. As South Africa, we are grateful to Germany for its assistance in this regard, also the partnership that you have demonstrated, particularly in enabling us also to produce COVID-19 vaccines. However, these efforts have suffered a setback. While we started vaccine production in South Africa last year and with other manufacturing facilities under construction in other African countries, we now find that there are no buyers for vaccines that are produced in Africa. Now, this is a matter of great concern to us. And this is an area that should also concern you because you have been in the forefront of helping us as the African continent to move up the ladder of being able to produce vaccines. We believe that vaccines destined for Africa should be produced in Africa, as we said, also at the summit where you attended. We look forward to engagement on this matter and on our proposal also at the World Trade Organization for a temporary waiver. Building a capable, ethical, and developmental state is one of South Africa's national priorities. We are grateful for Germany's support for the Sustainable Development Goals Policy Support Initiative, a collaboration between the Presidency, the GIZ, and the 26 public universities. This is going a long way towards strengthening the South African presidency as a center of coordination oversight and supervision across all spheres of government. This year, Germany assumes the G7 presidency, and I wish to thank you, Your Excellency, Chancellor, for the invitation to attend the summit of the G7 heads of states in June of this year. We recall the leading role that Germany played in driving the G20 compact with Africa to support investment and economic development on the continent. South Africa shares the aspiration of the German G7 presidency, namely progress towards an equitable world. As the international community, we must work in unison to realize societies that are open, resilient, gender equitable, with human rights for all. The COVID-19 pandemic and more recently, the conflict in the Ukraine have demonstrated clearly that the countries of the world are increasingly interconnected and interdependent. As Germany and as South Africa, we know too well the difficulties and challenges of reconstruction. Yet we know that with dependable and enduring partnerships such as ours, these challenges can be overcome and many opportunities for progress can be opened up and embraced. Chancellor, it is a real joy to have you here with your delegation. This is a relationship that we value and that we want to continue nurturing. And I now invite you, Your Excellency, to make your own opening remarks. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you for having us here. And you already explained instantly the good relations we have between our two countries. So no field of our cooperation has been missed in your speech. So I will not go to repeat them all, but underline that there is a lot of aspects. There are a lot of aspects we are working together, and one of them is the transition of our industries into an industry that will be CO2 neutral in the future, which means that we will have to invest a lot in new technologies, and this could be a big aspect of progress for the whole world. So I'm very happy that this is one aspect we are discussing today, and where we will have the chance to look together to one of the projects that is working into this direction. Also, we are working together with you in the field of cooperation for developing skills. I very much agree that it is necessary to do a lot for the young people growing up, and that if they have a chance for training in the industry and education together, this is a big progress. And the willingness to cooperate is also going into all the aspects which you already mentioned, for instance, fighting against COVID. I'm very happy that we were able to support the production of vaccines, modern vaccines, also in Africa and also in South Africa. This is a big progress for getting independent, and my deep concern, my deep conviction is that if you are able to produce things, you are also making more progress in being able to develop them, and understanding that the scientific progress in South Africa is very great. I think that doing both things together will give us a new chance for more progress and more perspectives for the future. And so you can be sure that we will continue to work together with you in all these aspects of our cooperation. My view is also that we should increase the investment in your country, and making it more easy is one of the aspects we will discuss on, and I'm very happy to do this the next hours when we have the chance to go into the details of all these questions. I'm very happy that you will come to Germany in this G7 meeting, and this is a great honor for me, and it is something that is desperately needed, because we will have to work on a multilateral world. And doing so, it is necessary that we cooperate and that we are understanding that there are things that we have in common, important for what we are doing. And one of the things we are having in common is the idea of democracy. We are democratic states, and this is a different view on the world we are developing coming from a country that is democratic, because we understand that this is helping to create a better world. And so I'm very happy that we will participate together with some of your colleagues and that we will have a chance to discuss about the crises we are facing. Some of them are already there, as COVID, you mentioned it, and how we fight against the pandemic, but also against the economic and social consequences of this big pandemic in the world, but also fighting against climate change and how we can make it that this is a good perspective for all of us. I'm convinced that we have to find a path where we cooperate, and this is why we will discuss on the climate club, where countries are open to participate and where we will put our activities together instead of fighting against each other. So if we could get there, this would be a very big progress. And obviously one of the questions that is of big concern for all of us is the war that Russia imposed on Ukraine, the brutal war, we have to say it like this, and it is necessary for peace in the world that this war stops as soon as possible, and that there is a chance to defend the integrity and sovereignty of the Ukraine, and also ending the war, which will save the life of many peoples that otherwise would die, but also is important for helping the world not to be influenced by the world. We see now what are the consequences of this war against Ukraine, and we have to convince Russia that they will go out of the war and that peace has a chance for the Ukraine and for the development of all of us. So thank you for inviting me and for inviting us, and I'm very much looking forward to the discussions we will have together.
Thank you very much indeed, Chancellor. Not only for the discussions, but for the wonderful visit we're going to pay to one of our iconic companies later this afternoon. So I'm looking very much forward to accompanying you on that visit to Sasol.